Hello. You there?
Hi,
Hey, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Good. Who's this, Ro?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were Jen for a quick second. Okay, me and Ro are on there, Jen. Are you cool? Hold on one second. You there? Hello? Jen? Yeah, I'm not hearing you. I got a black screen up. You're in here, but it's a black screen and I don't hear you. Try going back out. I'll take you out. Try coming back in. We are having some really crazy restream issues tonight. Um, it like the
Gotta love
original.
Restream.
I don't anymore. I think I'm gonna go back to Streamyard or look into something else.
I was holding my sarcasm sign up.
Oh man. Yeah. So we're trying to go ahead and have this live stream, and the focus of it is, does anti-meat mean antisocial? And while we're waiting for our host JJ to come on in, what are your thoughts on that, Ro? I mean, do you think that when you now go to family gatherings and things like that, the fact that you're kind of taking on this meatless idea and living more of a vegan lifestyle, do you think it's well? You got it going on in your household right now. You just told me that you switched up on your husband and he actually conformed. He was like, okay, whatever, it's been tasting good, so let's continue, right?
Well, not only that, but I've been, conforming him our whole relationship. I mean, I don't keep cow's milk in the house, and I haven't. He's been doing almond milk with me since we got together.
Wow.
Um, because I've been lactose intolerant since I was a week old.
Well,
So,
how long have you guys been together?
9.5 years.
Oh, we'll see. That's 10 years. Completely dairy free or just the milk portion?
Uh, just the milk portion, uh, because I haven't taken away their cheese or their pudding or their ice cream. I just eat it very small amounts, but now I found, thanks to Jen, things like vegan sour cream and cheese. And I told you about, Cold Stone. Cold Stone is my sister's favorite ice cream because they have plain mint, no chocolate in it or anything.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, which she had when we were in Mexico when she was 5 years old when she got stung by a jellyfish. So it's been her favorite ice cream. And Cold Stone is the only company that, because they have it as a base to mix things into it. So she
Yeah,
just eats uh, the straight
it's
mint
a
ice
straight
cream.
mint.
So I've always gotten like the sorbets and stuff.
Yeah.
But now they have the silk. I thought it was almond breeze, but it's silk um chocolate ice cream.
And you
And
know
they're,
what? Ben and Jerry's has a fudge brownie that is to die for.
well, this tastes just like fudge brownie mix, like
Nice.
batter.
Yeah.
And Cold Stone is 6 blocks from our house. It's right next to our Starbucks. So, and her, the vet that she works for, when she goes above and beyond or whatever, she gives her gift cards. So, I mean, that child right now, not to throw out her business, but she's got like $150 in Cold Stone gift cards. So once a week we do a Cold Stone run, and I get a kid size because I'm not a huge sweets person. Um, I get a kid size of the chocolate with gummy bears in it.
Wow.
But I'm loving that because so many people are learning to be plant-based or going keto, that there are so many more options. Now, I have had issues with companies like Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts, that have always charged extra for you to
Mm-hmm.
have lactose free options. And I said,
Right.
that is not fair to us that are lactose intolerant.
No, it's not.
Now, I believe that they should pick one and make it free since they all offer. Let's see, Starbucks has cashew, no, coconut, oat, almond, and soy. And so does Dunkin' Donuts. Pick one and make it a free option. And if you want one of the other three, you have to pay for it. Because if you want any of the ones that have lactose, they're all free. So you can get half and half, you can get skim milk, it doesn't matter. But the
Right.
plant-based ones we all have to pay extra for. When right now, if you go to the grocery store, plant-based milk is cheaper than cow's milk.
Crazy. Absolutely nuts. I just sent the link to the chat to see if Jen can get in because we've been having issues on the back end. Try clicking that link, Jen. I know it's crazy how the tables are actually turning because the more vegan products come out on the market, the more celebrities are buying into starting plant-based restaurants. It's going to
Yeah.
become more of the norm, more of the mainstream, and you're going to see a lot more pricing go down on it because of that, I think.
Well, do you remember when everyone was giving Madonna, I think it was Madonna, a hard time when she was doing the oh my god, which the micro something where she did not eat anything that wasn't grown within 150 miles of her home, and
Oh,
it
I
couldn't
heard
be
about
cooked
that.
to more than 130 degrees. It was like micro, and everyone was like making fun of her because it was years ago. But I
Right.
mean, isn't that raw vegan? Isn't that
It
what do they
is.
call it? Farm to table?
It is.
I mean, everybody's doing it now. She was just, doing it, when everyone thought it was alien, but now people are like, well, that sounds like a good idea.
Right.
I mean, I remember being, diagnosed celiac and being able, having to look at the, ingredients on things to see if I could eat it,
Yeah.
and having to go to Whole Foods once a month to do our grocery shopping because Caitlin was organic meat and vegetables and dairy only, and I was celiac, and so we're going down with our, because the only Whole Foods was in downtown Sarasota, which for us was like a 45-minute drive, and we would do a month's
Right.
worth of grocery shopping, and
Wow.
everything was triple the price, and if you could find items. And I was diagnosed actually back in New York, and I used to shop at Trader Joe's all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's an entire gluten-free aisle everywhere. People just hopped on it, even not being diagnosed. And I'm like,
Wow.
as soon as people started hopping onto it, all of a sudden now you can find the stuff in Walmart. I actually bought my Beyond Meat from my Walmart Plus delivery today. And when I told Caitlin, she's like, when did Walmart start selling Beyond Meat?
Wow.
I said, I don't know, but I bought it today.
That is absolutely nuts.
So just so you know, one package of 2 hamburger patties at Walmart is only $4.84.
Wow. Um,
And the
hold
cheapest I
on.
had found it was Gordon Food Service was $4.99. And then it goes up in price from there depending on what store you're going to. Um, but I do a lot of Aldi's. Aldi's does not sell Beyond or Impossible or anything similar. I mean, they have their like Gardein similar items in the freezer section, but they don't have
Yeah.
anything in like the refrigerated section. So Aldi's needs to step it up because they're the sister brother company to Trader Joe's. So they have this
Right.
whole G free line, which is the gluten free line, but we need to step up the plant based.
All
They're more
right.
keto than plant. So
Yeah.
like they have keto bread and keto this and keto that. I'm like, okay, but what about the plant based people? What about the vegans?
Gotcha. Hey, Jen, are you
Um,
in here? Okay,
Can
so
you
we
hear
got
me?
Jen in here and her guest.
Yeah,
Yep, we can hear you.
there's Jen.
All right, we finally got things happening.
Thanks.
Oh,
Can you hear?
oh, I see another person, but I can't read the name. It's too tiny.
Dina?
It breaking up.
Dina. Okay. Sorry,
Dina.
I'm working off my
It's
phone.
okay. It's okay. Dina, my name is Dina Miani Lalman. Nice to be here. I agree.
Nice to meet you as well.
Ditto for me in your comments.
Welcome to the stream. I'm not sure. I was trying to ask is the on the phone because I couldn't seem to get in on the computer. Is it breaking up a little bit?
Just a little bit.
Okay.
But not as
I
bad as
just
it's
wanted.
been in the past.
I'm gonna try to jump in on the computer again. I just wanted to at least come on and say hi since we're stream all able to get together with all the technical difficulties we've had.
Okay, it looks like we've got somebody else that wants to come in here too.
Is it Nancy?
It might be. Let's see.
Yeah, I had to
Hi, are
open the
you
link up
Nancy?
in my browser. Yeah, I had to when I clicked on the link on the Facebook, and then I had to click to open it in browser. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to get on.
Yeah,
So it's
I
frustrating
experienced
to get
the
it done.
same thing.
Restream is glitching tonight, and I apologize. I think we're going to go ahead and switch platforms. I don't know what's going on with it, but yeah, I think we're
Yeah.
all here now. So let's go ahead and move forward. I don't know what's going on with it, but let's hope we get through this stream.
That everyone is here and that you all were able to join us. And I know Vegan Do It, Vegan Knowledge Facebook group and Dina. And I just thought this would be a really good stream to bring you on because of your area of expertise in religion and how that relates to plant-based diet. And I think you do. And Nancy, I'm so excited to hear your thoughts. And Ro, our newly converted, who is seeing the health benefits. Of course, J&J Video, who's always so kind to help us with all the technical detail. Vegan friend, we're plant-based and loving it, as we say. But yeah, I just was thinking because that was one of the hardest things I remember in like April of 2019, and Easter was the first holiday that I had, and it was just like I realized at that point how different things were for me. I saw things differently, like a whole different world, and I couldn't congregate the way I normally would. So I thought that was an interesting conversation to bring up and see how I dealt with that transition, being plant-based and kind of a meat-eating world, which we hope to change. Point, that's what it is, So that was the top, and I'm interested to hear everyone's thoughts.
Well, for me, it hasn't been difficult to be social while I'm in this transition. Right after the hurricane came through, because I'm in Florida, we went out to Chili's, and I had the chips and salsa, and I had the uh, I had some rice, and I think I had like green beans or something, and I was fine. I've gone out to Olive Garden with my sister, and I had the minestrone soup and the salad and the breadsticks, and I was fine. Like but as far as coming up to the holidays, um, with my health issues that I have, my in-laws are used to me bringing my own food as it is. I pack a bag and I cook for everybody, but it's mostly, I'm cooking for myself, but everybody's welcome to what I make cuz I don't know how to cook for one, I cook for 20. Um so, I don't cuz we're going to be at my in-laws for Christmas. I don't see it being an issue because I'm just going to make my own food like I always do, and everybody can eat what they're eating, and I'm just going to eat what I eat, and you're more than welcome to have some.
And that's definitely how, like, I feel like it has to sometimes, you know what I mean? You have to kind of, to get to that point where you feel comfortable doing that. I think some understand that, and they want to kind of interject on you, even putting it to them like you have to eat this way. I feel like they're kind of sometimes like, come on, you used to do this, you used to eat this way. We're always our type of meat dish, you know what I mean? So I'm really proud of you for stepping up and kind of taking the lead on that. Also, you seem like you have a very assertive personality, so you're like, love it or leave it, right? Dina or
Well,
Nancy, do you?
what?
Somebody just asked me.
I was just saying, did you have any thought how your transition went?
Briefly, I was vegetarian with no eggs from about 16 to 23. And that was a long time ago. Then I went back to eating animals. Not proud of it, but I did. And except for red meat. And then at 59, thanks to social media, I came across some undercover videos of animal agriculture. And that's what just threw me. Just,
Oh God, the documentaries kill me too.
yeah. But I took it further. I did tons of research and I said, oh, I'm going to find out about this. Well, since then, I've learned an encyclopedia's worth of information, and just like a whole world opened. I just can't believe the internal transformation was greater even for me than necessarily external, because I was very plant-based before that. I was, eating a lot of plant-based dairy because I thought it was healthier.
Mm-hmm.
Tofu. So it wasn't a huge transformation for me, but I think for most people it is. And I have a vegan food business now and interact with people a lot. I've had a booth at farmers markets. I always have information, and I'm about to open a food stall in a food court. And I'll tell you, when you get out in the world and you start interacting with people like that and listening and critical thinking and seeing the barriers that still exist, it totally changed my whole form of advocacy. And I'm very against shaming and blaming people who aren't vegan. I think there's the few that come along that earn maybe a little heavier comment or not, but I feel that it's so important that we take that compassion and I say, be that change you want to see, because berating people who are not yet vegan is the dumbest, worst thing you can do as a general form of advocacy. Yeah, and so I feel like some of the most important thing that I can do, and I feel that we all should be doing, is getting that vegan food out there. That's why I'm opening up a food stall. People need hope. People need to see what the vision. We have to create that vision of a wonderful future. And
Yeah.
people need to know that they do not need to eat animals, because that's the biggest barrier now. So you get some vegans saying it's not about health, it's only about the animals. And that's not going to get people to change for the most part. Not the mainstream we're approaching now. People need to be educated and well informed that, and every major health and nutrition organization has said that a well-balanced vegan diet is healthiest. So we have all these tools to use. So I never say vegan isn't about health. I don't say that it is, but for some people, plant-based is. But I always say it's the healthiest, and a lot of different things that I kind of tend to ramble on. So I will end with that.
Well, I'm in the same book with you, Nancy, in that my mom was severely diabetic, and they were always pushing the carb control, and then one doctor was pushing, the ketosis, intermittent fasting, and I went on the NIH's website because I was constantly, I was looking things up all the time related to her diabetes related other medical conditions that were coming up, like the congestive heart failure, the other things. And the NIH has a study posted that the best diet to lower your A1C is a plant-based diet. And that
Yeah,
is why
there you go.
I'm
Right.
I am sneaking things in on my
Absolutely.
husband because I'm trying. His A1C is at a 6.2. We
Ooh,
started at a
yeah.
6.4, but we're trying to get it below 6. So I'm sneaking things in on him.
Yeah.
Attempting
Um,
to cure legal blindness with it as well. That's something that I'm suffering with, and
Wow.
I'm I've started a lifestyle called Fast and Raw, and Jen knows about
Hmm.
it. I basically am doing a 23 and 1, no, 22 and 2 intermittent fasting window, and I'm doing raw vegan when I do eat. So it's extremely aggressive, but
Wow.
it is, I will keep you guys posted to let you know if
Wow.
I see any vision.
That's awesome. One thing about ketosis is it's very dangerous for your body. It
yes.
has shown some help with epileptic seizures, but as a long-term solution, it's very dangerous for your body.
Yeah, not long term, but I've got some experience with it because I've fasted for God. See, because I'm used to it. It's not for everybody. I've fasted as long as almost a month one time, so I'm pretty what's that? I'm pretty good with the fasting. My body has adjusted to it and it's kind of used to it, but it's not something that everybody is able to do. If you're hypoglycemic and things like that, you
which is
want to be careful.
which is what I'm struggling with. But I have noticed in the 3 weeks that I have been doing this, 3.5 weeks, I have not had a single night sweat night.
There you go.
Except when we had no power and all I had was a fan. But as far
Right.
as, me having to make sure I eat right before bed and what did I eat, and because I was having horrible night sweats. I would wake up sweaty and smelling like I had been at the gym for 3 hours, and just nasty. And I have not had a single night like that, except,
Yeah.
like I said, when we had no power. But that's a whole, that was a different set of circumstances. But Dina, I
Yeah.
want to give you a chance to jump in here because sometimes with me it's you got to play double dutch. That's how he explained it to my husband when he joined the family. You just got to,
Yeah, just
whoever talks the loudest gets to speak next.
Okay, but yeah, but before we do that, I was in the middle of my pointless thing.
Sorry.
I was still talking about my little issue with the fast here. I just wanted to statement about. Okay, talking about ketosis, but it can be dangerous. But at the same time, you definitely want to make sure that you realize that fasting is one of the safest things that you can do for your body. If you're able to, it is one of the safest things that you can do because you're allowing your body time to rest. It doesn't have to digest any food, and it can begin to repair and rebuild, and it can only do that in a truly fasted state.
Before we go further
Fasting
into
automatically lead to ketosis?
It doesn't. Well, you do go into a state of ketosis. Your
Hmm.
body starts working off of ketones once you start, but at that to burn fat for fuel, so it
Hmm.
will survive. It won't. It's not to a point where once you get rid of all the glucose, your body is strictly burning fat. And if you've got a healthy weight, it's in my case I'm not skinny, so my body can go for 10, 15, 20 days at a time, and I'm fine.
Wow.
In fact, I have more energy than I have when I do eat something. So it's if you once you experience it, it is amazing to go through. And diabetics have been taken off their medications with this,
I think
but they are
Wow.
so,
supervised.
same with like plant-based diet that can help with insulin resistance. But what I was going to say is that is the bounce off. I was stuck. I tried to go send someone the link, and it took me off the street thing. Bouncing really quick before we get back into fasting on what Nancy was saying about people by pretty much telling our own story. We were just talking about this on one of the ones using those I messages and saying, hey, this is what this plant-based, it stopped my allergies, it took me off my medications, it stopped my back pain. This is what made me change when I saw this video of how animals were abused. Whatever, from your own point of view instead of projecting on someone. I think that's really important when we're talking who haven't fully converted, or maybe you're just trying it. You know, every little those getting vegan foods out there that taste good is so important because that's people's number one thing.
Yes. And
I definitely
breaking that relationship with food will break all the other bonds that people have in terms of animal use when they stop seeing animals as that utility that's so personal and it becomes a part of your body. And that by far is the biggest and most prevalent way that people abuse animals is with food.
Yeah, I agree. It's so
All right,
strange. Have
Dina.
you seen Gary Arofsky's thing?
He has a lot of videos, doesn't he? I've seen some of his. He retired a while back. That was kind of odd, right when
Yeah,
things were starting to surface, you know.
Who is that?
Maybe he needed a
yeah.
break. He seemed like he was over the top sometimes.
Who is that?
He was, and he got a lot of hate, so he decided to, for safety reasons, step away.
Dawn,
I
can you
saw his
repeat his
video.
name?
So,
Gary Arofsky,
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
YOUROFSKY.
Y-U-R,
Yeah.
yeah,
Y-U-R.
Y-U-R-O-S-K-Y. Go look
Okay.
it up. It's called like the greatest speech ever made, I think.
Yeah, I saw part of that. His farewell letter, he actually rescinded some things that he had said. I saw it.
Really?
And yeah,
and did a new
but he's brilliant. You know, I kind of wish he was still around. But we need to be lighten up things now. We need to make veganism a very welcoming
Yes.
movement. We can't be nitpicking about plant-based versus vegan. They're both great. Plant-based is a friend to vegan because that's where the research is done, that's where institutional changes are being made, that's where all the food is coming out. So they're not necessarily interchangeable, and I do make a distinction sometimes, but never in a judgmental way.
I think too
Well, that's
that some
awesome.
people, like sometimes I might be afraid to say, oh, try the Hellman's vegan mayo, because some people are like, oh, don't support mayo because Hellman's uses animals to make their regular mayo. But in my opinion, and a lot of people buy that and support it, how else are we going to show these major products that there's a and that they can make money
Exactly.
Well, if they
So I
start
think it's
selling more of the vegan, that means they'll use less of the animals because they'll be making less of the regular.
And they're a
Because, you know,
name.
That's my
Just
in
don't
the whole
try to be too perfect. You know, that's
Yeah.
the enemy
in
of
the climate debate, it's been proven that the biggest cause of carbon emissions in the nation is in animal processing.
yes.
So if you really want to lessen the carbon footprint, stop eating so much meat. That's
And
you know,
nitrous oxide and methane are worse contributors even
yeah.
than carbon is.
But I will. I just.
what is that?
Sorry, Dina. Yes.
How do you put like messages? I noticed like there's Janetta here and Brooke. I mean, so I've never used this platform before. Like, is there a way to put messages on here, or do you do it to the private message, or?
You know what you're gonna have? What you would have to do is actually go join the YouTube video itself,
Which is what I do. I have the
like-
YouTube running so I can do the
Right.
live chat on, but I have it on mute while I'm on here with you guys.
Right.
Okay.
Go to use your phone and chat that way.
But I was
Dawn,
thinking about like in religion. I mean, in the church, you know, to bring the food. I need to bring more food that's vegan to my church, for example. But I have, but it's got to be good food. Too.
Yeah, and
it's
you do the fake out. You bring something like, you know, I've been making this beefaroni, as my husband calls it, but it's a beef bolognese pasta, and I just switched out the beef for Beyond, and you just don't tell people. And just when they go, oh my God, that was so good, you can go, oh, by the way, did you know that was vegan?
Well, the one thing about not telling people that could backfire if there's an ingredient that they're allergic to or have an intolerance to.
Yeah, you could say,
They can do
there
that.
might be some soy in this or something.
Right. You want to
But
let them know that what there's
yeah,
that's a good point without saying the meat is vegan. Say, oh, there's stuff in here, just so you know, because they need to know. Especially
yeah,
gluten. A lot of the vegan meats are made from gluten, and some people cannot tolerate soy. They have a
Right.
yeah.
major
That you say
intolerance.
there's a possibility there's soy and nuts in this.
Yeah, I think that one of the things that people worry about are those of us, like my best feelings is when I'm plant based, which I go through phases of where I just do that, and I definitely feel great, but from point A to point B, because they're going to be afraid they're not going to get those comfort food, and we all feel like we have an emotional attachment to food, and that's why what we were talking about earlier, sometimes it's a nostalgic thing, certain foods we
Yeah,
incorporate. I think bringing those flavors and letting people know, hey, you don't have to completely change, your taste. We like food
yeah,
that tastes good, even if you're plant based. You don't like a piece of lettuce for your dinner, like how the jokes are
yeah,
online. We're eating. Like, I think what people don't realize too is you can eat like a lot. Like, I know about my life where it's like, oh, I said this on the last stream. You can only have like 1/4 of a cheese, 2/3 cup of broccoli, and then you feel like you're guilty if you eat that. With this, you can eat as much as you want. It's the easiest diet ever. You just don't eat meat, and you don't know, like, if you're looking to think of a simple way of looking at it. Some people make it very. There's so much good stuff out there. I want to welcome Brooke to the who we've been trying to get her to convert over, and we've let her try away from each other, so we don't always eat together. But I'm so happy that she's now, and she seems really serious about it for health reasons.
Well,
Hey,
I
Brooke.
was shocked. I was sorry, Brooke. I didn't mean to step over you.
No, you're fine.
I was just going to say, I was shocked. I was in downtown Sarasota today, which Sarasota, we're in Florida, God's waiting room. I was shocked, because I went down there for work and I was looking for something to eat for lunch because I didn't eat before I went down there. And we have 6 plant-based restaurants right on like the main street, and 3 are completely vegan. They say vegan. And
Oh,
then
that's awesome.
3 are plant-based. And then we have 2 Thai
That's
restaurants, and they say,
incredible.
so like, because there's a lot of, law firms and banks and whatnot, in downtown Sarasota. But we have a lot of tourists. We have a huge farmers market every week. But yeah, I counted. So, I mean, it's really, and they are packed because I order from one to be delivered to the office. And I had, it was completely vegan, but it was a caprese salad sandwich. So it was vegan mozzarella with the
Your
sun-dried
stuff
tomato pesto.
here,
Wait a minute. Hey, Jen, didn't I try that before
you did.
at Real Raw? Yeah, there's a spot here, and I had that sandwich. It was very and it had the caprese on it. That was actually not bad. I liked it.
It was delicious because the
Yeah.
cheese was all melty, just like regular mozzarella. It was just, oh, it was so good.
I think that's the thing also
I
that
think it's called like Fast Plant too, is like the restaurant name. It's kind of like, the plant-based version of Jimmy John's. Sorry, I didn't mean to skip over. Talk over you, Jen.
like stuff is so good now. Like, they make such good products, but like I tell people, if you're a big cheese lover, the first cheese you try that's vegan might not be good, but of course, generic craft cheese, when I was eating regular cheese and didn't like it, there was restaurants I didn't like, different things, you and then as you go on, you'll get creative. Like I'm sure like a cook like you are and Nancy and even and Dawn has gotten into these are getting so creative with it that then you can start to take real plant products. You don't even have to eat the processed food. So it's like a progression that you can go through. Like fun when you get into the creativity of it of hey, this tasted like this, or hey, this was the vegetables and like the flavor of them. And like when you're completely still in the American diet, you can't even fathom what I'm saying. But once you get into it, you'll realize.
Yeah, for the other ladies, Dawn and Jen know this. My favorite like go-to meal that I make for myself that I've turned plant-based is, if you remember back when you were a meat eater, beef tips and egg noodles.
Yeah.
I do it. I make the mushrooms and I make gravy out of the mushrooms with, cornstarch and water. And then I throw in green beans and gluten-free egg noodles, and I make it, it's just like, beef tips and egg noodles, except the meat is now baby Bella mushrooms, and I throw green beans in it. And I just keep it in the fridge and, heat it up real quick when I need a quick lunch here, because I work from home for the most part. So
About that, I realized that the link is wrong too now with everybody that had the old. So people are like, the stream is not working, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this was like really terrible.
yeah, I think we lost Brooke.
I'm on my phone and I can see one picture. Somebody's got a blue top on, and I can't read your names. Your names are so tiny. Can you introduce yourselves?
It's probably me and the blue shirt. I'm Dina Lauman, Dina Miani Lauman. Nice to meet you.
Dina.
Yeah, hi, great to be here. I love the picture on here too. It's making me hungry. All the vegetables. So
I know, right?
What's that?
And I haven't had dinner yet, so I'm really hungry.
I know, all this talk about food is making me hungry. Sounds like some great ideas too. Because let's say you need some kind of easy to share. Like in my church, they are very curious about. I'm in the middle of the country, small country church that's got a lot of people who make their living in the animal agriculture. But they've been very welcoming to me. I've been upfront about being vegan. I've been there 10 years, almost 11. And so, my thing is, I'm usually so busy though on Sundays, but I really, 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 really need to make an effort to bring the vegan food, at least so I can eat. And there's another one of my parishioners has started to do like a vegan option. And so to introduce that to my church more, because I think that will go a long way. And just being happy and joyful and not angry, because I think I've been angry in the past though. It's not like I went through a phase of being really mad, and it just didn't seem very effective, and it made me feel bad.
Yeah.
And so,
this happened to you, but it was like,
how perfect is that I'm doing a anger management stream tomorrow, Jen?
Yeah, that's the first day. June Eastern does a stream that is called Midday. About a lot of like
Midday Meltdown.
We can all go on therapy.
It's about mindset.
It's about,
and I think a lot of what being vegan, I was just getting ready to say on my journey, like when you said you were feeling angry when I first started, mainly health reasons, I was like, I'm just going to give this a try. I kind of got into like some toast. I can do this. I did it for a week, 2 weeks. And then like after a month, I started noticing that. Then after 3 months, when I delved into that whole world, like you were talking about, I think Nancy know about, like this whole vegan world opens up. You see all this like animal abuse. It makes you angry that the whole world, you're seeing all these health commercials of, that stuff is being created by the food. They're selling the food that they're making. They're not telling people what a plant-based diet can do. And it just made me I would hear they, would stop selling the meat. And you know what I mean? And like you said, that wasn't to educating people and telling my story and come back into myself, because that's making me a better person to be an advocate by being angry at the world.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Dina, how do you feel like that relates into religion? Because the first thing I saw of you, and it was so good how you related. I believe it was just a story that you vegan pages, and I read it and I was like, wow, that kind of related religion to being plant into what you did, and I'm like, that's really cool for people who feel like they can also be Christian.
Yeah. Are you talking about the 8 ideas to be happy, healthy, vegan Christian? Or is that the one?
That's what.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we talked, Marquita and I had a discussion about that on last week. So, because I think, there's a lot of, I also do counseling too. There's a lot of emotional issues that go on behind, with being vegan. And some people really beat themselves up about like their past. And so it was just 8 things I put together, and there's more. I'm open to adding to the list, but of ways to have a list of things that ideas. So when we're feeling stuck, how we can be happy and healthy as a vegan. Like, and my work also is with the well-being. It's a group for Christian vegans or spiritual vegans. Like sometimes in our faith journeys, that's a really hard area, because not only for Christians, but any world religion, any kind of spirituality, you think, or like you got the gurus out there, they're like teaching love and peace, and then they're eating animals, so that's a particular area. That's kind of the one I've been focusing on, that whole area, because it can be very isolating and disappointing and lonely. And so and I looked for a community. I couldn't really find one, so I'm creating one, where we can share our faith and being vegan. And so also the psychology of it. There's so many people, they just are so hurt by they think I thought everybody would just be like an easy sell, well, everyone will say yes in my life. And my church people would, and my church leaders. And I see things like, I'm so discouraged, like a pastor will post something about bacon, and it's like, oh my goodness, it is so disappointing. So it's nice to be able to have a place to talk about that, because, and I think like I've heard the Dalai Lama eats meat, and I just really feel, in my opinion, I'm just going to say it, I don't think you can be a full and 100% spiritual leader if you're eating meat, or you're not. I just think it's just so overlooked. Not only that, it's not only overlooked, it's just fought against too, so so that was that list of like putting God first was one. I'll just go through the I could just do a quick list if you like. They're quick, just what it says. The first one is putting God first, because even as a pastor, I had to have somebody remind me, like, because I'm so busy, like, you should pray. I mean, I pray, but I also have this prayer practice, the centering prayer, where I really take time, like 20 minutes a day, to connect with God, So, like, for us to remember, like, to just be prayerful and remember the bigger picture of life and things like that, and ask we have spiritual guides or angels to help us in life, and be centered in that, and that we can be centered in our spirituality, in our connection to the divine. Then a lot of chaos can go on around us, and we can still feel pretty peaceful. We can still have peace that passes all understanding. So that was, I'm trying to find this, where this is here. So that was one thing.
I would love to have you on my channel as well. That would be cool, because I deal with that a lot on my channel.
Yeah, let me know. Yeah, there's 8 things you can go, I'll just, like, another example is just like when I get mad at people that are eating meat or whatever, I remember I used to eat meat too. There's very few people on this earth that they're fortunate to start vegan. But I remember I worked at Kentucky Fried Chicken as one of my first jobs. So I'm like, yeah, and I would have said, I love animals then too, you know.
Oh my
So
God, so did I.
yeah. So there's like the 8 things, and I'm just trying to find ways like to. I'm thinking like a nice list like that, and you just put it somewhere. I'm feeling discouraged. Just look that over. And our group also was very interesting going into the holidays because people, I mean, you want to try to find ways to stay connected to people you love. And then sometimes that's really hard because they might be confronting you or, I mean, ridiculing you or whatever. But to try to maintain those relationships that are not, you know, unless they're really toxic or whatever. But you just hate to
You know
have
what?
like vegan reason.
A lot of people feel like they're showing you a form of love, and that was one of the first things that was really,
Mm-hmm.
really hard. Puts a lot of work into cooking, and that's the way she shows her love. And I'm like, and I love your cooking. I just can't eat this, and this. So that was
Right.
kind of part of and helping her understand my why behind it. And she's been great.
Right.
And she went out and bought a bunch of things and then started cooking that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Brought that to the table.
I hear you. Yeah.
You know, that like you said, that it's connecting with people. Food connects us, and religions all kind of connect us in a way. And we need to find a way to respect each other's that because we don't want to hurt and harm animals. Does not have anything to do with our that we've always had. We are who we are. We just have found a way that is us, and technically it's in our own minds, and it's a contradiction to harm animals and well,
Well, food is sacred. I mean, think of one of the main sacraments in the Christian. I'm Protestant, so like that would be baptism and communion is a meal. So it's a vegan meal too. So it's sacred too because these are dinners like grandma's great grandmothers, you know, whatever passed down through the generations. It's like that person. It becomes like embodied with that person. So to find maybe, but I think anything can be veganized too. So, I mean, messing with people's food is, you know, kind of a trigger for a lot of people because food does connect us, and um, it's not just food either. And it's just can be threatening to people. So just to be gentle with them, like Jesus did. Like Jesus never really demanded. He said things like, if people don't agree with you when you go into towns to share the good news, then you leave the town and you shake off the dust. Or, you know, he was more like inviting. He would say, "Come follow me," you know. So he would invite people in and beckon them, and in that way, he really wasn't heavy-handed. So I like to follow what he did. And he also talked about planting seeds. You plant all kinds of seeds everywhere, and some take root and some don't, and some may take root in 10 years. You don't know. You just keep going. But that's why it's important, like to do things like this, because we can share with each other because we get it. You know, we're in a world
never
where
know
we don't.
planting with someone who might like you, or somebody that has joined in, or someone that I've shared the stream with might resonate with, because that's what happened. Me and Dawn both. That's one of the is what got me curious and interested in this raw food healing for 6 months. So it was like something I saw online, something so random. If I hadn't been at that day and she hadn't shown me that, would I be where I am now and trying to help other people? Not.
Right.
Every little thing.
And it's so wild because I had just
say
come off of that fasting. I had just come off of that fast that I did, and vegetarians, and she took it to a whole nother level.
Yeah, you think about like when you're confronted with somebody or somebody confronts us, we are defensive. You know, I'm that way. I'm not going to listen. I'm thinking about defending myself. So the less that we do that and can be confrontive, and the more we give people dignity to just make their own decisions to come to that conclusion. And it's not just going to be
Right.
me. Like, I'm going to say
Not to cut anybody off. But
Right.
Brooke, I keep having to bring Brooke in. Is she having an issue, Jen? You might want to text
Yeah,
her on text message or something
I've been
because
talking with
she
her.
keeps coming in and out.
She's having connection issues. Brooke, are you here now? You want to go ahead and see if you can talk connection?
I'm here now.
First,
It keeps doing it that I have a connection issue.
Oh, that's all
okay.
right. Because you're down there in the country, Fort.
In the country. Yeah,
So,
Baltimore County.
But the, battle of the vegans versus the meat eaters, I feel is kind of like dealing with politics in America now. I mean, my in-laws and I have completely different political views, and I respect their views, and I hope they respect my views. And we try to have well, my father-in-law and I, we try to have conversations about current events or whatever, and listen to each other's side of things. So I think what everybody's been saying about giving your not to use a word from certain religious sects, but your sects, not sex with an X. Sorry, allergies. um, Giving your testimony, why it's working for you, what made you decide to do it without coming at it as these everyone's it goes to these militant vegans. If you come at it a little softer, and just say, this is why I chose to do it, and these are the health benefits I'm experiencing from it, and then Dina, I put in the comments, because you're trying to think of meals you can make for the meat eaters. Chef Damaris Phillips, who I know from Guy's Grocery Games, she is a meat eater who married a vegetarian. So she has taken her favorite recipes, because she's a Southern girl from Kentucky, and made them veggie. So like she uses jackfruit with barbecue sauce as an alternative to pulled pork. So like if you guys are having, a pig event, a smoked pig event or whatever, you could bring the jackfruit with barbecue sauce as an alternative. Hey,
Right.
Because I've actually had it. Whole Foods sells it in the frozen food department, already done with barbecue sauce, and I didn't
Okay.
taste the difference.
Wow. See, Jen and I have been talking about trying that lately. Really, Ro?
Yes.
Wow.
Now, I'm not a huge pork eater, you know that.
Right.
But Caitlin was in the
But that's good
FFA,
to know.
and I
That's good
used to
to
make
know.
them laugh because I would ask them to cover the pig's face at the events, because I could not see just that animal just laying on a slab like that on a table, and everyone's just
Right.
pulling its guts out. Oh my God.
Oh no,
Thanks for the visual.
I
Thanks for the
couldn't do that.
visual. Wow.
oh
But
my,
the boys that made, they slaughtered the pig and they smoked it for 3 days and blah blah, and they were so proud of it. I'm like, but can you cover its poor face? I just
mm,
can't look at it. And they call me the city girl. So I always joke, me, I turned the joke on myself before anybody else could. So like I was known as Zsa Zsa in the community.
that's good
Joining
to know.
Green Acres.
Like
Jean Jacques Gabor.
with like certain,
Yes.
you know what I mean? Like they're the eat a duck,
And then
I dog, but like anything you're eat personality, if you really really think of it, and I think people block it out of their mind because that's what I did. For years I ate meat, so I feel like I'm a good person to be empathetic. That you're not where I am. You know what I mean? But once you
yeah.
delve into it, even in the beginning, especially if you do it for health reasons, you're not always there. But there's a little switch that goes off. Make that's an animal just like your pet. And it's like now it resonates with you where it's not like cheating on your diet. It's like
Yeah.
something in your heart. not to eat that, and you're finding creative ways that might, even if you like the alternative, you're not gonna do that. Because
Now,
I wouldn't want
I,
a person, and most people would.
I just had another suggestion for Dina. Dina, does your church, did the church ladies do like a cookie exchange around Christmas?
Not really, but they have a Christmas party that's coming up, and they would do a cookie exchange. That would be a good idea.
Because in the baked goods aisle, I found it in Winn-Dixie first. There is a powdered egg substitute. It's made from flaxseed that you can use as the alternative for your eggs in your cookie dough to make a vegan cookie. Now, I've had to find these alternatives because I'm allergic to egg yolk and other things. So I've done this in dealing with my allergy issues. So it's a box. It looks like, what would look like a box of like instant mashed potatoes. And it just says on the front of it, egg substitute. And you just, it has the measurements on the side of the box of how much you use to equal one egg. And there you go. You got a vegan egg substitute.
That'd be good to bring to the Christmas party too. There's our meals and things like that. To bring some of those because delicious vegan desserts and cookies and stuff. Because people don't want to hurt animals. I mean, I think if things are good, you can show them they're good. They're not going, and they're better for them and the environment.
Yeah.
Most people would be saying yes to that, unless they've got other issues going on.
Right. Exactly. I totally agree. It's like I was telling Jenny the other day, said, it's so funny because a lot of the farmers, that do cattle farming and things like that, they also grow vegetables. And if they were to really, really embrace going back to growing whole vegetables and selling those and trying to make their living off of doing that with the way that the world is going, plant-based, they would find a way to supplement their income and bring it back up to par because they're now just dealing with vegetables. We need more and more of those.
And there are so many grants right now with the USDA to transition from being a meat producing farm to a veggie producing farm that they could get grants that they don't have to pay back from the government to swap over.
Wow.
I mean, I
There's
think
also,
the USDA, I just got a news alert. They just announced 10 million or 10 billion in grants to do this.
my gosh. There's also programs. There's a rancher advocacy program, and there's a couple others that are like the former ranchers that went vegan, and they actually have programs to help farmers transition over. But that's incredible. The government is giving grants.
Well, it's
that.
part of
It's
Biden's
wild.
it's part of Biden's climate initiative because in this inflation reduction climate bill that he passed, to transition us from being one of the largest producers of toxic gases, emissions, is meat processing. So they're trying to transition to less meat.
One of the biggest contradictions, really, like difficult to watch, is those who are, I guess the word is conscious or think that they are, and they don't realize, contributing to that. I think that's one of the messages we have to get out to see that the government is identifying that and trying to project people to go. I think that is so important too, because if nothing is going to change. It's just like telling somebody you shouldn't eat meat. You shouldn't eat meat. It'll help all your health issues. But if they don't know how or what to eat, or how to emotionally deal with it, that's never going to happen. And that's the same if you look at it on farmers and corporations and meat. People that sell the meat industry has to have that same thinking as we do with individuals. They have to have another way because they have.
Jen, you just cut out.
Oh no, I was just saying that was my
Oh,
whole point, that there has to be a way, and that's part
yeah.
of what.
Well, unfortunately, with the, election being 3 weeks away, everything is about the election, about the election. Unfortunately, it's not getting out all of this stuff that was included in this bill to transition us from, you know, fossil fuel, transitioning us from, being producing so much meat to transitioning farmers to other products. We are the largest producers of soy beans in the world. So many countries buy their soy from us. It is the number one producing agricultural product in this country. And it is so easy to grow that some of those cattle farmers could just transition to use that land to grow soybeans. I mean, China, Japan, they are the biggest buyers of our soybeans. Sorry, I'm into geopolitics and all of, what goes on outside of our bubble and what's going on in the world and how we can fix things here to help there. So I
It's
didn't mean to
so
get on the politics. Sorry,
no,
but the three things you don't discuss are
No,
sex,
that's
religion, and
amazing.
politics, and we already discussed religion. So
Kind of
really
But that's
discuss
good to know.
isn't
I'm
soy
full of stupid information.
No, definitely not stupid.
we definitely appreciate it, and check out her channel too. She definitely I've gotten put out of her little political rant there. What are you on TikTok?
I'm on TikTok and I have a YouTube. This is my YouTube channel. If you click on my comments, it says, go to channel. I pretty much anything I produce and put on TikTok, I produce and put on YouTube as well. So if you're not on TikTok, you can follow me on YouTube. But again, my political positions may not be the same as everybody else's. So I don't want to offend anybody. I'm giving everybody a warning.
That's why we're all different, and we all have to have open mind, because you might say something the same that I can keep an open mind and realize what you're saying. And that's a better way of thinking. Just like everybody closed off to my ramblings about, they may not listen to this channel, but you can go to video does the midday meltdown and Tuesday takeover Tuesdays. So is
The funny thing is, on our midday meltdown, we talked about that on our relationship stream the other day, when Friday. You are so empathetic in the way you put yourself in other people's shoes and try to think like they would think. And it keeps you on an even keel.
definitely, I think that
it's
are dealing, like, you can't look at something as how you feel all the time. You have to see where the other person's coming from and understand that, because it's going to put you in mindset. I think we lost Brooke, but I was going to check out her Facebook reel. Too funny with her sarcasm as well. And of course, Nancy's going to give us some links.
but I guess it was the environment I grew up in. My parents let me make my own decisions, and you know, I grew up in a very, mixed neighborhood, different religions, different ethnicities, you know, LGBT, were in my community. So I just, I just grew up appreciating other people's cultures and cuisines and history. And when I go on vacation, I like to immerse myself with the people and not go to the tourist destinations, because I want to know where the
That's
locals are eating and the locals are hanging out so I can talk to them and learn about them. And, I just, because you can't understand another area or another people until you've, like you said, you've walked in their shoes, and you don't do that unless you meet them and talk to them.
You know, you can
Absolutely.
look at somebody. Sometimes someone's necessarily mean, like that's what. I have to know where it's coming from to understand their action. I guess what I'm saying, like if I tell somebody, you know, if I start to talk about animal abuse or something, and they cut me, I get angry almost. It's probably somewhere inside that they feel bad about it and they don't want to. That's I have to understand that in order
Yeah.
to be able to say, okay, let's come off of that a little. Let's talk about my health benefits. Then let you resonate on because they're not a bad person. I don't feel like I was a bad person. I felt like I'm the nicest person. I realized what was going on the first 42 years of my life with the whole animal. You know what I mean? So you have to realize I
Yeah.
think it helped you weren't vegan your whole life.
Well, on one cruise, sorry.
Just quickly, a theory of why people get shut down on how I that food. And I don't think it's because they don't care. I think it's because they do. But they have no idea what to do. They're like, they don't know how to eat. We talked about that before. They don't have that vision, that experience of eating really good vegan food, or how this whole wonderful place that they've never been to is like trying to pull the rug out from under them. And then you go, don't stand there. And where am I supposed to stand? I don't know. So that's why first that positive vision of living vegan is such a wonderful experience has to be created. You have to experience that first.
Yeah,
And
you're
then I think
cutting out just a
okay.
little bit, but can you
How's okay? What?
could you say it one more time? I don't know if I'm on everyone's end, but you were cutting out just a little.
Let me move. I might have a better place in my house.
Oh, that's perfect. I can hear you really good right there.
Better? Okay, yeah, I'm closer. So the theory I have is that when people reject human messages of horror, it's not because they don't care and push you so badly. I think they do that because they do care and they don't know what to do. Like you're saying, they're standing in this spot their whole life. That's all they want to go. Don't stand there, move. And they're like, well, where am I going to go? What am I going to do? It just leaves them dumbfounded. So that's why I'm very big about getting vegan food out there. Just stop harboring people, stop trying to stop the horrors in their face all the time. You have people need to know, but the first thing people have to experience the joy of living this way and how it's delicious and abundant. And, you know, that's why I wouldn't eat with people who
About what you're
vegan
taking.
want to eat. It's fine, you know, I'm here and I'm not eating what you eat and I'm fine. Okay.
And I've not been eating meat for 3.5 weeks, and I've never felt better.
Yeah.
Except one day that I did eat meat.
Exactly, right?
I had to. It defrosted in the freezer during the hurricane, so we grilled chicken, and I was sick the entire next day. And it's not because the chicken went bad, because Joe and Caitlin were fine. It was the chicken did not agree with me anymore.
Yeah. Your body was like, oh, you're giving it what it needs. And I think that's, you know, even people that like, I'm a pretty logical person. Like, if you give me a really good reason for something, then what happened to me too when I started doing research. And I'm like, wow, our bodies are like that. We're not designed. No wonder we're having digestive issues. Our pH, level is not. No wonder everybody has acid reflux. And I can go to the reflux, and I can go to the aisle, and there's like Tums and Rolaids and Zantac, whatever that stuff is. Maybe that's, I don't know if Zantac is the right an allergy medication, or is that Zyrtec? See, I mean, there's 100 things that
no, Zantac, you were right.
Okay. Like, but that's the wild thing. Like, if you go to every issue, and I've looked at a lot of the forks over knives. I've looked at a lot of them people I've dealt with on my Facebook, people that have tried it at work. When if you're listening, medication within like 3 months of going plant-based, it's like literally you're like all of your health issues in one. And I think there are a lot of good doctors who are telling. So a lot of the industry just wants to keep that bit under wraps, because if you're a mechanic completely, you know what I mean. And that's not individual doctor, that's the industry in itself.
Yeah.
If we prevent it and we fix it, everybody going on is just for nothing. All these research and sometimes it'll
Yeah.
what started to happen when I'm looking at cancer research and research sites,
Yeah.
and you're not recommending eating a plant-based diet.
And when I went into this, I'm probably in the same group with Brooke. I did not necessarily, it was after meeting you and Dawn and, talking and, I'm like, well, I'm already doing, I'm lactose intolerant. I'm this, I'm that. I'm already doing, the plant-based dairy product, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what if I do majority plant-based? I didn't fully expect to go fully no meat. I just figured, I would do more plant-based and eat meat occasionally, like I was already doing. And, I went, 2 weeks with nothing. And then, we had to eat it because it was defrosting in the freezer. And my body was like, no, you cannot have that anymore. And I've experienced that many times with my health issues where my body's like, no, don't eat that. Fried food is a no, so it was just very eye-opening. And like I said, I haven't had my night sweats. The one day that I felt sick was the day after I ate the chicken. And so
Oh yeah,
here
your
I
body
am,
will talk to you.
not eating meat. Oh yeah, my body talks to
Your
me all
body
the
will
time.
talk to you. Your body will talk to you. It'll let you
It
know
talks
when
to me
it's
all the time.
enjoying something. It'll let you know when something's good. It'll let you know when. I did this the other day. I had some French fries, and the greasiness of them. Oh yeah, my
Oh,
body let
yep.
me have it. You'll find
Oh no, my body.
once you start eating like a plant based or diet on a consistent basis and go back the other way, your body's like, oh hell no, we're not doing that anymore.
Well, fried food has been a no-no for me for years with the Crohn's disease. So that's just been just a no-go anyway.
Your body was
It just,
you on to be plant-based, Ro. Just like it's been.
and here I am. I've had coffee once in the last 5 days, and I wake up and I'm not taking a nap in the middle of the day or anything. I have more energy. I feel better. I'm not, like I said, the big thing for me is the no night sweats because I was miserable. I'm just sharing my testimony. This is what I've been going through over a 3.5 week period.
I'm so
Hormones.
happy
I mean,
for you.
there's a whole like thing on that, like how, like there was a woman who couldn't. She went plant-based. There was like lots of like your hot flashes, and a lot of this stuff are not even just, oh, I'm turning 45 or I'm turning 50. They're from a lot of us don't realize how powerful the foods are that we're putting into our body and what it is doing. And it's like we separate it as people, as an American culture, period. And we're like, oh, I'm eating this, but that has nothing to do with this health issue. Separate things, but they're so intertwined that one is like a cause and reaction to the other. Grow up like thinking they're separate.
Yeah. And like I said to Dawn earlier in our messaging, I haven't noticed the weight loss yet, which is fine. As long as I stay where I am, I'm okay. I'd like to lose, but we have other issues there too. But just, I can't wait to see what my blood work says at my next doctor's appointment, because my vitamin D was low, and I know the amount of mushrooms I've been eating. People don't realize how high in vitamin D mushrooms are. That's something I've learned in this process because
Mhm.
you guys know I love to do my research.
Our skin, when it comes to like mushrooms, sun, and you know if you take your mushroom like the light in the fridge, it actually will develop more vitamin D inside of them. It's kind of like our skin, the way they develop vitamin D from like sunlight. I don't know if that's true about the refrigerator, but I definitely know it happens when they're in a vitamin D supplement. I was against supplementing for years, and then I like dissolve as you get like over 40. I heard that you absorb it slower, so you really need it.
Yes.
Seaweed and sea vegetables, you know.
And then
So like vitamin B12 in the winter, you're at a lot of sunlight. So it's I've just patient, but we also take moringa, which has every nutrient in it.
yeah. Well, Caitlin's vitamin D was so low, the doctor was very, very, very worried of organ shutdown, etc. So we had to put her on a supplement. It was prescribed. And I actually found a line on Amazon that are vegan, and they actually have a daily dose of your vegetables and fruit in the vitamin supplements. They have a daily vitamin, they have vitamin D, they have different ones. And her energy level from taking that vitamin D supplement, plus the way we've been eating recently and the job, that child, I can't call her a child, she's 25, but she has lost 20 pounds in like the last month and a half. Just,
Good for her.
I'm sorry, somebody said something and I didn't hear it.
What's the name of the stuff?
I want to say it's Vegan Life. I'm going to go on Amazon. I'm going to find it and I'm going to send it to Dawn and Jen so that they can share it out.
Facebook on the vegan knowledge group yet?
No, I don't think I am because I'm hardly ever on Facebook anymore.
Okay, well, if you get on there, you're welcome to share it on there. I can share it though when you get it over to us. I'm like Facebook all some Facebook lives too, but there, I don't know if that's where we want to go.
Eventually, we'll probably end up doing that. But
Yeah.
do you want to get ready to wrap up so we can make dinner?
Yeah.
Sorry, it's called Veg. The line is called Veg Life.
Veg Life.
Okay.
Why does that sound familiar?
Send me that link.
Was that just the vitamins, like a multivitamin, or the vitamin D, or did she do both?
She does 3. She does the multi. She does the iron. Because she.
What else? Are you there?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. So you said multi, iron, and
Okay.
what else?
And the vitamin D. Because she was anemic. We suffer from PCOS, and she was having an issue with her monthly, and she was very heavy, and it was turning her anemic. So we did the iron on her GYN's recommendation, but I stick with Veg Life line. And if you read the bottle, it's all made from vegetables and fruit. There's no additives, and the amount of energy this child has gotten from it and the weight loss. She's still eating her, usual thing when she orders lunch at work. So, she's doing her thing, but at home, like I said, we're doing the Beyond Meat. We're eating more vegetables and stuff. She's always been my raw veggie kid. She doesn't like cooked vegetables. So we used to call her our little rabbit because she had a rabbit for the FFA. And it's like she would eat a carrot, the rabbit would eat a carrot. She'd eat the romaine lettuce, no dressing, nothing, just raw romaine lettuce. She would give some to the rabbit. So she's always been a veggie kid, but she is still my carnivore. She's like, please don't make me give up my prime rib.
Oh wow. Wow.
She's like, I will do your, we called it Vaco bake instead of taco bake, because I'm gonna make it with the Beyond and the vegan cheese and the vegan sour cream and make like this taco dip that my mom used to make. So I'm gonna make the regular style, just in case they don't like it, and all of it's gonna be made with Beyond meat. But I'm gonna do the vegan sour cream and the vegan cheese for me, and give them the regular, but have them try both, and we'll see, how different they taste, and that will be a video. We're gonna do taste testing. That's on
Oh, that'd
next
be
week's
awesome.
meal schedule.
That'll be cool. I can't wait to see that.
But see, for being a high functioning autistic and having her issues, she is being very open to trying new things. I'm very proud of her, but she's just not ready to give up her meat. And our moms raised us the same way, so her choice is her choice. I'm not going, I'm
That's
not going to
the way
force
to
my views on her.
because I think she'll ultimately just rebel against it if you let her make the decision like that. That brings me back to the point of telling our stories and putting
Yeah,
that we're excited about plant-based. We love it. We feel good. We feel better.
yeah,
We feel better spiritually. All together, let them make the decision.
exactly. And that's what our mom taught us, and that's what I'm doing with her. And she's the first one to tell you she's noticed a change in me,
That's
and
perfect.
and
Awesome.
my
Oh my,
energy level, and my mental health going through this pandemic, and well, grief. Then my husband had a medical condition, and then the pandemic. I have been isolated, and my mental health was not doing the best. So she has noticed that I am becoming my old self, if not better. So she's very into
That's
trying things
another
with me.
thing.
we don't
That's
realize
another thing that
food
people
can.
don't realize, that food actually can affect your spirituality and your overall well-being. It's like it's not all in your mind. You know what I mean? Food actually
Yeah.
can make you feel depressed or angry, or food can actually affect these areas. People are unaware of that.
And then, if people give you arguments about, how much more expensive the alternative meats are, I have an argument against that, or a defense. I have noticed that using the Beyond Meat, because it is all protein and no fat, no sodium, etc. Joe is the first one to say this. He's usually eating 2 bowls of food because he's a big dude. My husband's 6'5" and 290. He gets so full so fast now. So yes, it may be, $1.50 more than the regular meat, but it's going to go so much further.
Mm-hmm.
So if you
Because
think about it, you're going to be eating more of, in a sense, you're going to be eating more vegetables, and rice and potatoes are the cheapest foods you can buy. Like literally the cheapest
yeah,
diet you can be on. It suits. That's great. A lot of people prepare food with beans instead of even using. I'm using
yeah,
some ground tonight to make tacos. I will admit, lentils before, and like just beans and mushrooms in my tacos, and that's good. Like having the meat substitute, but that's what it's all about.
yeah. This is a personal taste thing for me. I might be a little on the spectrum too. I can't stand the texture of beans, or like lima beans, peas by themselves, that starchy, mushy. I just, ugh. But I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
In the Before we go, can I bring because Brooke is having such connection issues. Brooke, can you hear? I see the bee, but we don't
It's
see.
choppy, but I can kind of hear you guys.
Oh, okay. I hear your voice once. Let you talk and tell. Like, do you want to say anything about trying the plant-based journey? Are you convinced yet? Has your finally convinced you?
Yeah, I definitely am. Well, what I really started wanting to is obviously when I came down. It's when I came down and had all the vegan food, and it's better than all getting tired of meat. I can't like I can't. I don't know. It's not appealing.
Yeah, yeah. And like Dawn
I
can
remember
make
me
a
letting her
brilliant
try
sausage.
It's like I throw the Beyond
Oh yeah,
Burgers
that
on
was
the
good.
grill and throw some sausage on the grill, and it tastes so good. And we were like really enjoyed it, you know. So anything we can do to
Oh
help
yeah,
make the
that's
transition easier, you know.
yeah.
And
I
Brooke, I
also
love to cook, so if you need recipe ideas or alternatives to what you're used to using, like I had the thing about the egg substitute for making vegan cookies for a cookie exchange at Christmas, or jackfruit with barbecue sauce as an alternative to pulled pork. You know, reach. I love to share my recipes, so
okay. That's great.
Because my mom loves to cook, and Brooke and my mom would share. Mom like she's always sharing recipes on Facebook, and I'm always like, you could add Beyond Meat instead of this, because she'll share a recipe that has nothing to do with veganize it. You could use Forager sour cream for that. Actually, it looked you guys shared a post that had, like cream cheese wonton restaurant. It was some kind of like egg rolls with like the cream cheese in them, but Violife makes like good cream cheese. I don't know if you tried that yet, Ro.
Kite Hill is I like that
You
even the
like it?
best actually.
I'm a Kite
Oh,
Hill girl
Violife is
too.
really good.
okay.
Violife
Most
is
people
a great
are
company,
kite
but
hillers. I don't know what's wrong with
Kite Hill,
me.
I just liked it the best.
Everybody
And
Oh,
says
their
you know
almond milk
what?
European whipped butter is out of this world.
Oh,
I'm excited, and I think
What was
what
that?
I'm gonna do too. Which one?
What was the last thing was out of this world?
The Kite Hill
Oh,
almond milk European style whipped butter.
Okay.
oh,
Because I'm butter in a couple of like weeks now, because I haven't had anything with needed it, but I was using Earth Balance, and then Country Crock plant butter was the other one.
I just noticed
I'll have
the Kite Hill actually melts like regular butter to like make a roux or make like a butter sauce, like a garlic butter sauce. It,
and also a
unlike,
cleaner food. The Earth Balance and the Country Crock, I don't think they're as clean of foods as like Kite Hill and Miyoko's is also good too.
yeah, if you look at the ingredients on like, I can't believe it's not butter, and they're all different kinds of oils.
Yeah.
okay.
So they don't like melt like butter, and that's why I fell in love with the Kite Hill. I call it Kite Life. Um, because it actually melts like butter. I can make my butter sauces again, and I love it.
You know,
We have to make note of that,
Violife
John.
has really good ingredients. Believe it or not, I think I shared them on that video. My top dairy. The only thing it had like B12 in it. Like every now and then you can get surprised, because I don't like to use replacement products. I don't like the whole point of feeding myself clean food is not something every now and then. Like I I went 6 months with like all raw vegan, like Hellman's vegan mayo, and I started having like some tomato sandwiches and oh wait, what's this? Like Gardein, and I got into these products, and every now and then it's a nostalgic part of it that I was talking about, like, wow, I can have this taste back that I had kid or as a teenager when I ate, this particular food.
Caitlin is really interested in those Gardein chicken nuggets.
They are so
yeah,
good.
Those are good. Yeah.
the chick.
Because she likes
the
the
ultimate
frozen
chicken
chicken
patty.
nuggets.
Yeah, and the
Another
ultimate
thing about
chicken
Kite
patties.
Hill. Oh,
The
what?
ultimate chicken patties. Okay.
And another thing about Kite Hill, you can get it in 16 ounces.
Really?
Yeah, it's
that's
the only one
nice.
I've seen. The other ones are 8, but this I'm seeing it on Amazon, 16 ounces for $12. It may, if you're gonna, I use that to make frosting for pumpkin spice little mini cakes that I make to sell, and I use this with monk fruit
You guys
powdered
are
monk fruit.
killing me. I'm so hungry.
Yeah, but it makes a nice frosting, because it's actually decent ingredients.
Oh my gosh, can you icing?
Jen, what is the name of your group on Facebook?
It's you can type in vegan, it should come up, and it's vegan do it group. Vegan knowledge is like the whole name of it.
Vegan.
Like
Sorry,
vegan,
you broke up.
LEDGE. Vegan and then OWLEDGE. Vegan knowledge without the K.
Okay.
But it's a play on words, like we can do it. She did vegan do it.
I can't VEGAN. Oh, I put 2 N's in there. Vegan knowledge. There it is. No, I can't. Oh, vegan do it. Vegan knowledge. There you are.
You found
Oh,
it?
I joined it already. Yeah, I'm already in that group.
All right, I'm following.
Awesome.
I know Nancy's in it because we were talking in the group earlier.
Right, with Jen, right?
So Nancy, where are you located?
I'm in Baltimore, Maryland. Where are you?
Okay, that's where we're from. We're at Ocean City, so we were trying to
We're not that far.
where your restaurant's going to be. Like you said, you were opening up some stuff.
I'm opening a food stall, and I hope this works out. In Belvedere Square, Ocean City's a good 2.5 hours from me here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's not really that close, but it's this really nice food court, and they have to fix the pipes to get a regulation sink installed. So it's been very slow. They're very slow about it. I just found out they're getting a third quote this week. So I was told I could probably open up the first or second week of November, which doesn't seem likely because a lot more has to happen. But I can't do anything until they get that work done. So yeah. But it's a great location. Great location.
Products.
What?
And you're going to sell like
I'm going to make food and sell it.
That is awesome.
You can online it's wildheartbistro.com. You can see everything. Wild Heart Bistro. That's me.
Nice name.
Yeah. I thought about it as kind of a reply to people who think that eating animals is a wild thing to do. Like people glamorize it, paleo, and they want to make it sound like it's your wild nature, top of the food chain. And those are all total psychological euphemisms. They mean nothing. Because as we know, what has to be done to animals is anything but wild. And really, it's like going vegan just set my heart wild. on fire. Just
Nice.
that's really a wild nature. It's actually that's what vegan is, our true wild nature. So that was really fun.
Absolutely.
And I have a poster. Somebody stopped me once in one of my market days and said, "Do you ever cheat?" And I just got very serious and just said no. And then I thought about that and I thought, oh, I'm going to say, cheat on your meat diet. Try vegan.
I like it. Feed
Nice.
on me.
I'm going to put
Hey,
that poster up. Isn't that great?
if, if
on your
Cheat
Chick-fil-A
on
can have the
me.
cow that says eat more chicken, we can
Yeah.
say cheat on meat.
Yep, exactly. But you
I
have to say
love it.
diet because you cheat on a diet. And I don't think it works without the word diet in there. I know some people have a contention about going vegan diet, which is, I get that, but
is what you
it
eat.
is.
No,
But
no,
it's not a
less is
diet, it's a
more.
lifestyle.
Well, think
Cheat on
about
meat and
somebody
go
who's not
vegan.
vegan, and you're going to go up to them and
They're just
go, it's a
diet.
lifestyle. Here, take this 50-pound ball. And it is to us because we've evolved into that.
Yeah.
But to get people to come into this vegan room, it has to be really welcoming and really loose and no specifications and qualifications. And it's your life now. And that just not going to, it's too much. And
I
no,
had
no,
Or
no, 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 no,
or
no.
get them to join the
evolved.
challenge by doing like a meatless Monday.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think see, I think
exactly.
meatless Mondays are great. Yeah. Yeah,
You
so it has to
like,
be
oh,
yeah.
don't mention it's like what it takes to get somebody who's never been interested, might be curious, have to share a picture of me, or I have to do that. I've evolved into that as someone who's you can't think of yourself and where you are in your journey. You have to think of where they are in their journey
Yes.
and remember you are when you're dealing with somebody
Right.
in kindergarten. Of course, you know a lot more than you know now. Don't start
Right.
talking to them about calculus when
Yeah.
they're in first grade.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
like
like
I'm
process.
Catholics,
seeing
they give up meat on Fridays for Lent. So, if you do it for Lent on Fridays, why can't you do it all year on Mondays? That's just it
I'm
start with
seeing a
one day.
t-shirt.
Now we've got
I'm
who's this
seeing a
person here who's just been doing this for
t-shirt.
3 weeks? I'd like to hear from them about this.
That's her.
Oh,
That's
You're
me.
hearing
That's
from
Ro.
oh, okay. You sound like
Ro.
you've been doing it a lot longer.
I know,
Well, because
right?
I've been lactose intolerant since I was a week old. So
Oh,
I've been on,
Your body. That's my whole thing. I always tell people they're like, I'm lactose intolerant. I'm like, because we're not big.
baby
It's like
cows.
we all
Exactly.
are.
Actually, you're lactose normal. We're it's
Right.
not intolerant. It's lactose normal.
but it's also my
Lactose.
brain. Like I've never wanted to sit down and drink a cup of milk. Like my husband is obsessed with chocolate milk. Like I've got him doing chocolate almond milk, but I just never understood how people could just sit down and just drink a cup of milk. Like it just
Me
I
doesn't make
used
it
to.
never made any sense to me because I could never do it.
It doesn't
I
make
never
And
any
drank.
even
sense.
now with the almond milk, I still can't sit down with a cup of milk. It just makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I'm
I
more
used
of a,
to.
like
I
putting
would
it in
do that in a
my
heartbeat. I would
cereal
drink a cup of
and
milk, especially like if I had a piece of chocolate cake or something.
stuff.
Oh, I'd drink a cup of milk in a heartbeat. But I'm feeling this T-shirt,
Oh,
guys.
well,
Cheat
me
on
and
me,
my
go vegan.
um
Oh, neat.
well, me, I've always been the negotiator. I used to trade, in elementary school and junior high, I used to trade my little carton of milk that they would give us. I would always pick the chocolate one and I would trade it for something else on someone else's tray.
I used to get chocolate milk and the orange juice with like they were chocolate chip. I used to get like whatever the meals were, cheesesteak. I was like all on the standard American stuff. It's like so like I can't believe that was me. But then like that person probably if that makes any sense.
No, it makes total sense. I just, like I said, because I couldn't, just like I'm not a chocolate person. I know everyone's going to gang up on me,
That's
you
right.
know, but when I had allergy testing as a child, I was told one of the things I had a large sensitivity to was chocolate. So I wasn't allowed to have it. The closest thing I could have was a Tootsie Roll. So like, I'm just, chocolate doesn't like
I am a
excite me.
I am a chocolate person,
Oh, me
and
too.
I love it. I am a
And then
chocolate person, like
I worked in
literally.
a bakery just out of high school. So like, lost any sweet tooth I had, just smelling the buttercream, decorating the cake, selling the cookies and stuff. It was an Italian bakery in New York. I just, no, I have a salty issue. I love salt. So like
And salt
salted caramel
and
is as
vinegar
sweet as I
chips were
get.
like my thing for a while. I think we are going to jump off here and eat soon to continue to chat along. We've talked about food for so long. We're ready to end.
We haven't
But
eaten
if
dinner
you
yet.
guys
We're late.
can
Late
come
dinner.
on, like we're doing, and we're supposed to come on at 7. I know we had technical difficulties and we changed it to 7:30, but I definitely am so thankful that you guys still came on and showed up, came and talked with us. I really enjoyed hearing all of your points of view, and more time next week if you're able to join, or any of the Mondays really. So
Well,
thank
I'm
you,
around.
Yes, we
Dina,
know. Thank God.
Yeah,
Nancy.
it's
So
Anybody
cool.
want to say any last thoughts?
Thank you so much for doing this. It's so
Thank
great.
you.
I have to say I like Zoom better because I can see people better. And I've had a lot of technical problems. Like I posted a comment and then all of a sudden I lost.
It's
I
easy
was
to
like,
do
Yeah, maybe we'll do Zoom. We can definitely look at explore other options. I don't know that Facebook Live will let us all. Well, it might be a
no,
way
Facebook Live,
that we.
yeah, it's like a podcast, but it's visual. It's not you don't interact like this.
But I think you can
There's a
broadcast Zoom to YouTube. I mean, the courts do it.
Huh.
Oh,
they
you
have
can
more.
protest Zoom. Yeah, but can you have a conversation like this though, with people just chiming in, or is it just the people presenting, the only people you can see in here? You can type comments in, but this is so much nicer to be able to talk.
You know
No,
what I've
on
Right,
had to
Zoom,
right.
do?
Well, it's
I've
a
been in.
strategic platform.
Zoom. I've had to do YouTube on my phone and then come on from my browser live stream, or opposite. Sometimes I'll be on the phone and then I had to log in YouTube and look at the comment at the same time of being it. But you almost need 2 different browsers to do it, which case.
But I've been on Zoom with multiple people like this, and I know the courts do it. You just mute your mic when you're not speaking, and then you unmute. I've seen people hold focus groups for the political stuff, and they've had 18 people. The boxes just get smaller.
Yeah.
We will
Well,
Okay,
research
we'll
cool.
it.
Well,
explore the
that's
options. We'll explore the options. Right now, I'm about to explore some spinach.
Well, I explored some mushrooms and green beans earlier so that I would not be hungry during this live.
There you go.
Oh, I'm going to be
start before the live. Right?
on this Thursday. God, is it 12 or 1? I'm going to be interviewing with Mariquita Solis. Somebody else mentioned her earlier.
Cool.
Okay.
I can find out for sure what time. You know Mariquita is?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
she's
I just interviewed with her last week.
awesome. Yeah, it's
She's
at 1.
awesome. Yeah.
At 1
Yeah,
o'clock.
she's
Okay,
awesome.
perfect. Because I'm
Yeah,
like the
she's
midday
doing live
meltdown. I'll
stuff.
have to be there at 12. But yeah, I'll check that out right after the
Can
meltdown.
you send me the link to that so we can join?
Jen, yeah, I'll see what I can do. Right.
Yeah.
And Jen, I
Too.
posted the link to Veg Life multivitamin on Amazon in the vegan Facebook group.
Yeah, I actually
Okay,
bought a bottle
cool.
while after you mentioned it. I went online and I got a bottle.
So we move quick around.
What did you get?
The Veg Life. Oh, you know, I
Ooh,
pulled the
yeah.
made it narrower and everybody's bigger now.
I can post what I did with Marikita last week too, or if anybody's interested in the well-being.
Oh, that you did that one. I had a hard time getting or staying in that one. I don't remember what happened. I started and then
Oh, you did.
But what
Okay.
platform?
She put the
Actually,
recording in.
Marquita does well-being.
I did an interview with her last week. She is part of the well-being though too. Yeah. So, and
Okay,
also, you know,
awesome.
that Unity Church is having, Carol Saunders is having the retreat coming up, and
Oh,
she's got the, it's in it's the end of the month, but this year she's got a virtual option in case anybody's interested. And there's going to be recordings like 3 days, so I can
she's
put that in.
awesome.
She's awesome. Yeah, she's part of
Yeah.
the. So I can put that in there. I'm joining. I'd love to go in person sometime though, next year, hopefully. But I can post that. She's got the virtual's new this year, so it looks wonderful. It'd be
Yeah,
wonderful to be there. It looks
that.
it's so cool, and the food and everything. It's so nice to meet everybody
Yeah.
here. It's so great to be
Yeah,
people
definitely.
who get it and
thank you,
are so
guys.
excited.
I'm excited.
Well, thank you guys for
I'm
joining
really
us.
finally in person. Kind of in person.
Yeah.
I'm just glad to meet a group of like-minded people. So, you know, I'm the
Right.
new one to the
That's always
group.
nice.
You know, I'm the least further along, farthest along in the journey. But
You're
you know, I'm
passionate.
pulling up the
It's
rear end here.
You're doing great. You know, when you wake up, you're awake. You're awake.
There
You
you
wake for
go.
the morning. Somebody
Yeah.
woke up 3 hours ago. You woke up now, but you're both just awake. And yeah, I suppose it's a journey too, but it's fantastic. So that's awesome. I love hearing that.
Plus, when
definitely.
when you were awake to the vegan journey. You just didn't hesitate to get on board.
Well, I was
Absolutely.
leaning that way. I just needed a push, and Jen and Dawn, because I had watched all the documentaries, I had read all of the reports, you know,
You
some of
knew
the
about.
stuff, you know, ignorance was definitely bliss in not knowing some of the things that are in our food. Um,
Right.
we will not discuss the cows again, and what goes in our milk. Ooh. Um, that is what put my husband finally off of ever wanting cow's milk in my house again. Is when I showed him the information about things that are in the milk that don't get pasteurized out because it doesn't heat up high enough. But I'm just happy to, you know, they gave me the push to do it and the confidence to do it, and I couldn't be more thankful to them.
Well, we are glad that you definitely did. I mean, it's going to be not only good for you, but good for your family as well.
Yeah.
And
And
of course, I do it right
if
before a
anyone,
hurricane hits.
right. And again, if anybody's interested in the mindset videos and live streams, again, I'm doing that every afternoon at 12 o'clock. You can click my icon down there, the J&J, and you know, subscribe to the channel and come on in and join my live stream if you want to as well. So, with that being said, I hope everybody has a good night, and I
Thank you
guess we
so
will
much for
talk to you on the
organizing.
next one. Yeah,
It's great to
not a
see you
problem.
all.
You too.
Take care. God bless everyone. Take care.
Good night.
Be an awesome
Night.
night.